Hello, Melissa's grandchildren.
Hi.
How are you doing? I'm Melissa's dad. This is your grandmother. And this is your great-great-grandmother, Catherine. Say hello.
Hello.
Right, now no one wants to hear me speak, so take it away, Mum.
Alright, so we'll start with my mother's family. Obviously came over from Ireland as navvies.
And
Me,
Nabby is a...
Father's family came over from Ireland.
We don't. Melissa doesn't know what nabby is.
Well, I do, but they don't.
Well, I don't.
Digging roads and railroads.
Oh, right.
Doing
Navvy.
the heavy work.
Navvy. Oh.
Navvy.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the heavy work on the roads and the railroads. And obviously the dangerous work, because I told you, he died. So, my granddad, O'Connor, my mum's dad, was brought up in Shaw, and he married my grandmother, who was also brought up in Shaw. She was Margaret Finan, and he was John James O'Connor. He went off to fight the First World War, which was a bloodbath. It was a bad war. He came back a bit of a different man. So my grandmother had a very hard life, yeah, because in them days it was, you were expected to go through all that and then go home and just pick up the pieces and carry on. No talking about it, nothing, just carry on.
Well, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
No, that's how it was. There was no in between. You were fighting a bloodbath and then you were back home and expected to
No PTSD
just
or worse.
no, it wasn't like. So my grandma had a really hard life. My mum was the seventh child, one of the only two that survived. Her brother Bill, William, and my mum survived, and he was, I don't know, about 10 years older than maybe a bit more. He went off to Australia and he worked at Wimmera, the rocket base. He had a
The British rocket program.
honorary title as because of the men in the army that he had working in him. He was a lieutenant, I think, or a lieutenant colonel. But it was an honorary title. It was well,
Yeah.
he had to order a load of men that were actually in the military under him. It was an honorary title
It'll be a colonel.
to give him the right to order him. He emigrated to Australia when his son Peter was 7. He worked at Platts. When he got to Australia, he carried on doing a similar kind of job, but they asked people to take an exam. He took it and passed it with flying colours. This is how he ended up working at Wimmera. He came back a few times because they used to test the rockets, parts of the rocket, in extreme temperatures. So Wimmera was like desert and red hot. He came back a few times. He came back in winter to test them in the islands of Scotland, of all places. My mother idolised him. Absolutely idolised Bill. Her mum was a cotton worker, which was common at the time. My mum was a seamstress and she could make anything. If you give her a roll of paper, a tape measure, and material, she really...
Oh, that's all good.
She made so many wedding dresses.
Oh yeah, she was really, really, really talented. But as a family, we had a lot of talent. I had a cousin who was a florist. My dad's sister was a cook, Phil. Her daughter Phil was a cook at Scarborough. Her daughter Vera, Phil was my mum's best mate. Her daughter Vera actually taught cookery, cake decoration, to people who were going to go on to teach it. And she made all the wedding cakes, and they was outstanding. And when Deirdre
Sounds
made
like
the
a good
cake,
wedding, doesn't it?
it was gorgeous. So my mum made all the dresses.
Yeah.
Wynne did the flowers. My Auntie Phil's family did a lot of the catering. Vera made the wedding cakes. So it was.
It sounds a good day.
It was. It's still pretty much the same now, isn't it? My dad was an engineer with expert knowledge of aircraft engines.
The Labrador Lancaster.
Oh yeah. He changed certain things on the Lancaster bomber. After the war, he could have got a really, really good job, but he'd have had to be away again, and he wouldn't do it. He wanted to stay home, so he went back to Entwistle's, the place where he started at 14, and he worked there until the day he retired at 65.
Oh.
He built 2 machines for Entwistle's. When they opened the nuclear power stations, the machines didn't exist with the parts they needed, so my dad built them. Left the blueprints with them, but they still couldn't manage without him, and they actually moved to Nottingham. As he retired on the Friday, they'd gone to Nottingham on the Monday. I don't think they wanted to pay him redundancy. My granddad McLean was he was a union man. He started the shop workers union. He was a lifelong member of the TUC Executive Council. He was very much into politics and politics of the day. He was a good friend of Anaya and Bevin. Anaya Bevin started the National Health Service.
Ah.
Lord George were in it. Sorry? Lord...
Mus's grandchildren will not mind the interruption.
I'm pretty sure I answered that though, you know. Yeah, he did.
I'm sorry. I'm going to phone you back in a minute. I didn't realise I'd answered.
I knew I'd seen the green button and not the red.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at it. Okay, love.
We're going to keep this in.
Yeah, alright, kids.
Oh, you got to
stay
work.
in school. I know you will.
Alright.
Your grandma will mate you.
Yeah. I wonder what scars have been like by then.
No, are you on your
Is he
break?
flying cars yet? Was Elon Musk been Mars?
Right, so you've not got one. Alright, I'll talk to you in a bit. See you in a bit, look, bye bye.
That's cousin Emma, that.
Yeah, because at New Jam she can't go on holiday. It happens. I forgot what we were up to.
You was on your dad's side.
He went just after he retired. He went straight up to Nottingham.
No, the firm he was working at did that.
Yeah, the firm.
Oh right.
So they didn't have to pay him redundancy.
Right, start with Harold now.
Oh,
That's
Uncle Harold. His mother Mary was my grandmother O'Connor's sister. She's the one who really helped my grandma when my grandma needed it. And she always said that she wanted to be in a position someday where she could do something really nice for her sister Mary. They were really, really close. And it never happened. She never was in a position to do anything nice. And then one day we were in my mum's, and my mum said to Gillian, my mum always wanted to do something nice for Mary. And Gillian said to my mum, yeah, but Margaret and Catherine look after her son. Isn't that the debt repaid?
yes.
To which my mother was really, really pleased, and there's where the Harry comes in, Harold.
There was a medium
And
that
then
gave me that
there's
name.
my dad's dad, Harold,
And
and Agnes.
yes,
So there's a few.
yeah, Terry's side. His mum was Agnes Allenby before she got married, and her parents were Charles and Maud.
And Terry is my dad's dad.
Yes. Terry's your dad's dad.
Just so they can keep up.
Charlie were a one-off. He really was. Maud was quiet and nice, but Charlie were a real lad. I think that's enough said about Charlie. I never knew Terry's other grandparents. They were Sarah, and I think he was John, his granddad. He came back from the First World War with one arm missing and shrapnel in the other, so he couldn't work. And the name was Crossley Stanley.
Which changed
But
that.
Harold dropped the Crossley. His grandmother was a moneylender and owned a lot of property on West Street. And Terry's dad, Harold, had memories of going collecting rent with her in the pubs when they went to the house, and the bloke went there, he'd gone to the pub and she used to belt him and take the rent off him before he spent it. She was an absolute hard nut. But her son, coming back from the First World War, injured like that, and he had, well, there were Francis, Harold, John and Sam, but she wouldn't help him financially. They had to pay it back, and they had to pay the interest. And when she died, she left someone else her business and left her son with nothing, the one that was destitute, which never made sense to me. But Terry's dad, Harold, didn't have any time for his grandmother, and when he was able, he dropped the Crossley off the name, so Terry was were the first ones to be just Stanley and Crossley Stanley.
Rage Against the Machine. That'll probably be like really old music to use, but we love it.
Yes, that's my phone.
Terry's mum worked
Rage
in the
Against the Machine.
mill, Agnes.
That would be like Beatles to us, to them.
Oh, more like Wagner.
Agnes worked in the mill. She was very, very good. She was really... It won't make any sense, but she could run sides, and if in the cotton mill, in the past, if someone was sick, you got their pay if you did their work. So if you took their sides up, how much of their sides you could do or how much of their wage you got, it was never quibbled. You just run their sides and you got it.
Yeah.
And she could run her own sides, and she was very quick moving, Agnes, and she could run more than half of someone else's. So if someone was sick, she'd get more than half of their pay.
That's my dad's
so you
mum.
get time and a half.
That's your dad's mum, Agnes. Yeah, she was really, really quick moving. She loved bingo. I never quite understood it.
Oh, I love bingo.
Because she was deaf as a post, absolutely totally deaf. So the only way that she could mark the bingo card was by seeing the numbers coming up.
Wow,
She
no,
couldn't
that
hear
does
'em.
take skill.
And she always had at least 6 tickets.
What?
I told you she was really quick moving. And she could do it. She could do 6 tickets when she didn't have the prompt everybody else had with the caller. She just used to look up and ding ding ding, look up, ding ding ding. And she absolutely, I have no idea why, because I hate bingo.
Yeah.
I mean, I like bingo, but I've got fully able ears and I can do like 1, maybe 2 tickets, but...
Well, when Lana worked
6
for
tickets
bingo,
deaf, that's amazing, that.
Lana worked for the bingo, she was in charge of book sales. So she had to go and spy at different bingo places. She took me, I hated it, but I'd go with her.
That's your grandma's auntie, my sister.
Yeah.
She took Jane, and the only condition I would Jane would go and play bingo was she could take a passport, so she won the national, which for a lot of money. She could go to the airport and fly off somewhere and buy the clothes when she got there. Jane also worked at bingo, even though she hated it.
No wonder I love bingo, it's deep rooted.
Apparently, yeah.
She loved it, absolutely loved it. Never quite understood why.
Oh, I like bingo, mate.
Right, have you got any words of encouragement from Melissa's grandchildren?
you can do anything that you put your mind to.
Of course
And if
you
you can't, then just keep trying.
You never lose if you never give up.
Yeah.
Listen close to me, child. Anything can happen.
Never
Anything
stop
can
learning. There's always something else to learn.
be. Never listen to the mustn'ts, the couldn'ts, and the can'ts.
Yeah.
Listen close to me. Anything can happen, child, and anything can be.
Oh, that's so cute.
It is, isn't it?
That
That's
was
a
lovely,
lovely
that.
way of finishing off.
Yeah.
Right, so we're all going to wave goodbye then.
Love yous.
Love yous all.
Probably
All
tell you
time.
that all the time, but yeah. Even before you were here, I love you.